Disney, The Lion King. The hot African sun rose over Pride Rock as it did every morning. But today was no ordinary day. The animals of the Pride Lands were gathered together to honor the birth of King Mufasa and Queen Sarabi's newborn cub, Simba. The king and queen watched as Rafiki, the wise baboon, held Simba up for the whole kingdom to see. The elephants trumpeted, the monkeys jumped up and down, and the zebras stomped their hooves with happiness. But not everyone was pleased. In a cave behind Pride Rock, a scraggly lion grumbled to himself. This was Mufasa's brother, Scar. He was jealous because Simba would be the next king. Mufasa and his trusted advisor Zazu appeared at the cave after the ceremony to find out why Scar had not come. Zazu shook his head. "You should have been first in line." "I was first in line until the little hairball was born." He turned and walked out of the cave. Time passed and Simba grew into a healthy, playful young cub. Early one morning, he and Mufasa climbed onto the top of Pride Rock. Mufasa told his son that one day he could be king. "Look, Simba, everything the light touches is our kingdom." Simba scanned the horizon and noticed a dark spot in the distance. "What about that shadowy place?" "That's beyond our borders. You must never go there, Simba." Later that day, Simba ran into Scar. "Hey, Uncle Scar, guess what? I'm gonna be king of Pride Rock. My dad just showed me the whole kingdom, and I'm gonna rule it all." Scar looked slyly at the young cub. He was plotting to get rid of Simba so he would be the next king. "He didn't show you what's beyond the rise at the northern border?" "Well, no. He said I can't go there." And he's absolutely right. It's far too dangerous. Only the bravest lions go there. Simba didn't see his uncle's evil trap. He wanted to show his father what a brave cub he could be. He ran home to find his friend Nala. "Come on, I just heard about this great place." Simba and Nala asked their mothers if they could go exploring. Sarabi agreed as long as they took Zazu with them. Simba and Nala raced across the Pride Lands. They led Zazu through herds of animals until they finally lost him. The cubs laughed and pounced on each other. They tumbled down a hill and landed in a dark ravine filled with elephant skulls and bones. Simba looked up and gasped, "This is it! We made it!" Before the cubs could explore any farther, Zazu tracked them down. "We're way beyond the boundary of the Pride Lands, and right now we are all in very real danger." Suddenly, 3 hyenas appeared. They were Benzai, Shenzi, and the always laughing Ed. They backed the cubs and Zazu into a corner. Just when it looked as if there was no way out, a giant paw appeared and knocked the hyenas over. It was Mufasa. "If you ever come near my son again." The frightened hyenas quickly ran away. As they walked home, Mufasa looked at Simba. "You deliberately disobeyed me. I'm very disappointed in you." Simba crawled onto Mufasa's back. "Dad, we're pals, right? And we'll always be together, right?" "Simba, let me tell you something my father told me. Look at the stars. The great kings of the past look down on us from those stars. So whenever you feel alone, just remember that those kings will always be there to guide you, and so will I." Meanwhile, back at their lair, the hyenas had a visitor. "I practically gift-wrapped those cubs for you, and you couldn't even dispose of them." Scar was furious, but he had a new plan. He warned the hyenas to be prepared. Banzai laughed. "Yeah, be prepared." "We'll be prepared. For what?" Scar glared at the hyenas. "For the death of the king." The next day, Scar brought Simba to the gorge, where the wildebeests were grazing. Now, you wait here. Your father has a marvelous surprise for you. When Scar was safely away, he signaled to the hyenas. They raced into the gorge and chased the herd of wildebeest towards Simba. Scar ran off to find Mufasa. Stampede! In the gorge! Simba's down there! Mufasa jumped into the gorge to find his son. He grabbed Simba and put him on a nearby ledge. But when Mufasa tried to climb out, the rocks crumbled beneath him. He saw Scar standing above him. Brother, help me! Scar dug his sharp claws into Mufasa's paw. Long live the king! Then he let Mufasa go. Later, Scar found Simba standing beside his father's body. It was an accident. I didn't mean for it to happen. What am I gonna do? Run away, Simba. Run. Run away and never return. When Scar returned to rule over Pride Rock, Simba did as his uncle said. He wandered until he could not walk anymore. Finally, he collapsed to the ground. When Simba awoke, everything looked different. A warthog named Pumbaa and a meerkat named Timon had found him and brought him home with them. Timon explained his motto to Simba, Hakuna Matata. It meant no worries. You gotta put your past behind you. And that is exactly what Simba did. Years passed, and Simba grew up. One day, he saw a lioness attacking Pumbaa. Simba came to his friend's rescue, but the lioness easily flipped Simba onto his back. Looking up at her, Simba realized that the lioness was his old friend Nala. Nala was surprised to see Simba. Scar had told everyone that Simba was dead. Why didn't you come back to Pride Rock? You're the king. I'm not the king. Scar is. Simba! He let the hyenas take over the Pride Lands. There's no food, no water. If you don't do something soon, everyone will starve. You are our only hope. But Simba didn't believe he could challenge Scar. I can't go back. That night, Rafiki visited Simba. I know who you are. You are Mufasa's boy. He's alive. I'll show him to you. You follow old Rafiki. He knows the way. Rafiki led Simba to a nearby pond. Simba looked into the water and saw a lion. That's not my father. That's just my reflection. Rafiki shook his head. He touched his finger into the water and it began to swirl. Look harder. You see? He lives in you. Suddenly, Mufasa's shape appeared in the clouds. Look inside yourself, Simba. You are more than what you have become. You must take your place in the circle of life. The next morning, Nala woke Timon and Pumbaa to see if they knew where Simba was. Just then, the trio heard laughter overhead. It was Rafiki. He told them that Simba had gone back to the Pride Lands to take his rightful place as king. Back at the Pride Rock, Scar was fighting with Simba's mother. Suddenly, a mighty roar shook the ground. Roar! Scar turned. There, on the rock above him, stood Simba. Scar pounced on Simba, and the two fought. Finally, Scar backed Simba over the edge of a cliff. With his nephew dangling below him, Scar whispered the truth. He was the one who had attacked Mufasa. Anger rushed through Simba's body. He scrambled back onto the rock and pinned Scar. Run! Run away, Scar, and never return. Scar started to slink off and then turned and lunged at Simba. With a swipe of his giant paw, Simba knocked his uncle over the ledge. Scar plunged into the gorge below. Ah! With Scar gone, Simba took his rightful place as king. Before long, the Pride Lands flourished again. Nala remained at Simba's side and soon they had a cup of their own. As the sun shone down on them, Rafiki held the cup up for the whole kingdom to see. The Pride Land had a new prince. The circle of life continued on. This is the story of the Lion King. The end.